Do you think Wi-Fi doesn't have any implications on your body? You want to think again. We're about to meet with a scientist, mechanical engineer that wasn't traditional. He's from Germany, got educated in Germany, and basically worked in Germany in automotive type industry. Started to realize that Wi-Fi had some implications on his health. And he started to figure out the science of Wi-Fi and how it's a wave and it's going through your body. It's designed to go through things. And then he invented some things to protect his body from it. It has many studies that have been done. So I think you're really going to enjoy this podcast, and stay tuned. It's wonderful to teach people that this is real. You're not making this up, and there are ways to help you at home that you're maybe not aware of that have science behind them. So stay tuned. I think you're really going to enjoy. So what do you know about that? Like in terms of how this constant EMF being exposed to it. I think it's really interesting the way you talked about it, where I think people can realize and visualize that, when I'm on my cell phone and I don't have service, like something, there's not a connection. Um, so they want to make these waves go through everything to give you the best connection. And the stronger they make it, the better it's going to, service all these different things. And I remember like years ago where, you'd get on the computer and it took you a while to log in or whatever. You could see the little thing running, it took forever because it wasn't connected. But the stronger they've made these connections, it's gotten stronger. So it's not only affecting our cells, it's affecting our water in our bodies and all these different things. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, good points. I have a lot of comments on that. First of all, I like the idea you bring into is like it's also about the speed. Yeah, we always like high speed internet, and high speed internet means the amount of frequency get more dense and more stronger. That's the main idea about 5G, that you can carry more data per second through the air. So this increased the EMF exposure to our body. And the other thing is like where you said about the body, 60, 70%, you normally say that's the amount of water in the body if you go about the weight. Yeah, if you weigh it. But the interesting thing is, if you count the water molecules, then you're by 99.9%. And this is something Dr. Warnke, he's a German quantum physics. He said this the first time to me. Yeah? I met him in 2018 in Baden-Baden on a complementary medicine um, yeah, gathering where he had one of his big speech with a lot of attendances, and they was talking about the subject. And I was really blown away by the fact that he said like 99.9% of the molecules are water molecules. So he went further and said you could say the body is just like dirty water. And then it's interesting if you think about this. Okay, we have a brain, and then we are just dirty water, yeah? And the water functions as a fiber cable through the body. So the signals go through the body, through the water, and you're more clear, you're more structured the water is, the better the signals go through the body. And for example, I always like this short example. If you say your brain says 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say like this, for example, and give the signal to the cell. And 1, 2, 3, 4 means start to produce oxygen or to bring oxygen into the cell. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, the signal from the brain move there, and then we have the 5G signal, the wave that goes through the body. And there's a chance that this signal will be corrupted. So the energy that goes through the signal can change the signal. So that maybe when the signal 1, 2, 3, 4 comes to the cell, it's 1, 2, 4, 1, for example. And then the interesting question is, what does the cell does with this corrupted information? Bad could be it does nothing. It understands that the signal was corrupted, but there's also, from my perspective, the chance that we can say the cell does something wrong. And there brackets start, cancer brackets close. Yeah, for example, cancer is a body-owned process. So cancer cells, they're always your own cells that started to growing in an incoherent way. Of course, they're disconnected from the body intelligence. Just to bring this a little bit more into perspective. So, from my understanding, it's really important that the body water is in the best state it can be. And the best state water can be, and it's also proven that it exists in the body, is the coherent state. The coherent state is something that mentioned Dr. Warnke is a major research guy on this field, but also from the US, Professor Dr. Pollack. He called it the fourth phase of water. He has also a book written about the subject. But the main idea is that water normally is HO2, and the molecules they look like this, and you have an angle about 104.5 degrees. And the coherent state is if the angles go wider, about 108.5 degrees up to 180. And then you call it like structure water, hexagonal water. There are a lot of words for the same, but like from my perspective, one of the words I like most is coherent water, because it's from the physics side, it's the most precise word you could use for this. And this Korean water has interesting facts. For example, it has a higher electronic voltage. So it literally has more energy than normal water. And the Korean water, for example, when it's in cells, when the cell is surrounded by 62% of Korean water, then the electrons, part of the electrons, 13% of the electrons, they go out and make a surrounding sphere about the cell. So the cell is protected by its own electrons surrounding the whole process. That's one interesting fact. And not going too much into detail, but one more interesting fact is, for example, when you have blood cells. That's a research Professor Dr. Pollack did, and was also made it visible under the microscope. The blood cells, for example, when they want to move into the hand, where the veins are really small, they have to fold by itself. Of course, the blood cells, the diameter is too big, so they need to fold to went into the finest veins. And for this folding, for example, there is the energy of coherent water needed. So blood is literally 50% water. So blood always needs kind of a part to be coherent so that it has enough water to fold the blood molecules so that they can move into the finest veins. And then we could move further and could ask, like, what happens if you have cold hands or cold feet? Yeah, maybe yeah, the amount of coherent water in the body is temporarily maybe not enough.
It's great. The science is fantastic. Now you got studies to also prove some things. So talk about maybe some of the things you've proven in some of your studies.
The first study was really where we wanted to figure out how good is the EMF production. Of course, we had produced this and everybody could feel it. But yeah, feeling can be different. Yeah, some people I feel nothing. Yeah, I feel better. Yeah. And then first of all, always the word placebo comes into the round. Yeah, the people say, yeah, it's just placebo that he feels better. So I was thinking about like how could we get around placebo? And the cells itself, they cannot make any placebo. Of course, they have no brain to think about it. So we started with cell studies. And in the first study, we took literally cells groups, human cells, and we had some of them placed in these little plastic boxes. I don't know the exact English expression for this. And
It's probably
then we had
Petri dish. Does that sound familiar? Petri dish?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. and then we put a cell phone on top of it, and then we put the cell phone to the Wi-Fi, and then we did like a video chat, and for 1 hour, and without any protection, the cells that were literally grilled. They were not replicating anymore. They were just growing a little bit, and they were looking like, okay, that's not healthy. What happened to them?
So what you're saying is you took those human cells and you had them there
Mhm.
and you exposed them to Wi-Fi and you started to see the replication process, all the normal biological processes happening start to slow down and not the cells didn't look as healthy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly,
Got it.
exactly. Yeah, and then we did the same and placed just a G1 next to the phone, and then they were just working as they used to be, as the control group. And this was the first time when I saw this, not just by the figures, but also we did photos and we did a video recording, what's also a visibility visible on our homepage. It's just it's just fantastic when you see the difference. Yeah, when you have cells that get literally grilled, and then the cells get so stable that they can protect themselves even outside of the body against the EMF. That was really blowing my mind the first time I saw them. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, that's what got me in with your company. When I saw that study, that did it. And because, what you did was so cool and so scientific and so amazing, where people are like,
Mm.
oh, I have a cell phone, EMF, it doesn't affect me. I don't know what you're talking about, right? And you're like, okay, well, let me show you. Let me go ahead and put the cell phone with the cells, and you could see the cells not doing right, but then you took your device and you put it here with the cells, and the cells are like, oh, I'm happy again. I mean, so I don't know what
It's,
other
it's
justification people would need to understand that there can be something that helps block these crazy things. And that's probably not the right word. Is strengthen your body to EMF to where it doesn't have the bad effects.
Yeah, it was literally like a barbecue for the cells. Yeah, okay. And the
Yes.
first time they literally get grilled. They really get burned. And then with the G1 next to it and stabilizing the coherent water in the cells, they were just strong and yeah, immune to the fire. Yeah?
Amazing. One of the things I want people to think about when we're having this podcast and talking about it. You don't want to think of Wi-Fi like, when we talk about messing up your cells, it's not like frying you, right? Like right now. So you don't want to think of like you're smoking and burning and on fire,
Yeah.
right? It's not that strong yet. Um, where it's going to go, I don't know where it's going to go. But right now, you want to think we already have enough stress that's affecting ourselves. It's just another layer of things affecting ourselves. If you don't address this one key component, I mean, it's just massive. So it's not like you're going to put this thing that you did, the T1, you're not going to put these things on you and like all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I feel the best I've ever felt my whole life. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of it is to make sure you have some layer of protection so that you can get through this world and have this one key component that's not affecting you as much as it would be somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah, the thing is really like, as you said, the word, I love the word stress. You have so many stressors, and the EMF is just a really unnecessary stressor on top of it. And for some people, they say, okay, I don't mind. And for some people, they really can change the whole system into the worse. Yeah,
I'll tell you this for everybody, even if they say it's not affecting them, it's affecting them. Like
yeah, for sure.
even if they're like, oh
You
yeah,
you can you cannot trick them out of the physics. It's definitely affecting you. But some people say, I don't mind or I don't feel it. Yeah, yeah.
I love your basic analysis of it's a wave, okay? I can't see. It's like when people come into my office and we do X-rays. We can't see the wave of X-rays. It's an invisible light form. It's the same thing with this. You can't see the EMF coming off of this, but it's coming off of this, right? And it's coming off of all the different Wi-Fi towers and everything else around us. It's around you, and it's going, like you said, it's a wave, and it's designed to go through things. So it's going through you, like it or not, it's going through you. And then there's also information in that wave, right? So like it or not, whether you think it has effects on your body or not, it does. If this podcast spoke to you, or if you feel like you have family members or friends that have these types of conditions that could benefit from this particular technology, then all you need to do is become a Body Chargers member or tell them about Body Chargers. Remember, it's our community that I created to help people at home with the best technologies in the world to be able to help you to self-heal your body at home and maximize your self-healing. So go to Body Chargers, become a member. That's the easiest way to get this done. And we look forward to serving you and your family. Also, if you want a higher level of care, we have the Nerve Health Institute you can always come to. That's our clinic where we have higher level services here to be able to help you. So I hope you enjoy, and we look forward to serving you and your family, and look forward to our next podcast.